He-Man and She-Ra, together in their greatest adventure of all, The Secret of the Sword.
Somewhere out there someone needs me. I don't know how or where, but believe me, I'll walk the universe to find her, for better or for worse beside her, for the honor of love, by the power above. I have the power, I have the power. A stranger walked into my world, and when he talked I really heard. He spoke of things like love and peace, the joy it brings will never cease, for the honor of love, by the power above. I have the power, I have the power. The truth of love will always guide us, the strength of love will be inside us, forevermore we'll be together, our hearts will soar one to the other, for the honor of love, by the power above. We have the power, we have the power, so can you.
Hello, this is TFG1Mike, and welcome to the 46th chapter in the Powers of Grayskull series. This will be kicking off our She-Ra podcast, Myths of Etheria. With me for this journey into the Masters of the Universe franchise is none other than OptimusSolo himself. Hello.
Hello. That's weird, me not doing the intro.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, I'm refreshed. He-Man's over. He-Man's done. I'm good.
It's not done
I'm
yet.
good
You still
go.
get to see some more of him.
Well, Filmation He-Man is done.
No, you still get to see some more of him today.
Well, yeah. I'm saying Filmation proper is done.
Is that the name of the series?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see this, but I'm really going to reach through my computer and bitch
I
slap
can't see it
him.
either. Didn't happen.
Yeah, it did. So, before we get this started, what this is going to be in episode 46 here is going to be our commentary on The Secret of the Sword. When did you first see this?
Good Lord. Let's see. What year did it come out?
85.
Probably 1985. If not...
You were only 4 years old then.
Yeah, I probably saw it. My
telling
brother
me
was into this stuff. My sister was into this stuff.
Okay.
If not, I saw it within... I don't know. I saw it before I was 10. I know that much.
Okay.
And then I also watched it again probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime in the early 2000s. I know I watched it probably when we were first getting into Tooncast way back then. I know I watched it at some point probably to do something with behind the voice actors, capture images, do something, or just out of pure nostalgic reasons. But I've avoided it in the last 3 to 4 years while we've been doing the He-Man podcast because I wanted to have somewhat of a fresh take when we did it. So I've done no research, no rewatching. This is a fresh... I got the point here for me and the benefit of doing this for listeners would be, for those listeners who haven't seen this recently and are looking to pick it up again, that way their experience will be hopefully much like my experience here. And, I wanted to do a bunch of research, but I'm saving that for next episode. Right.
For me, that was that Tooncast you mentioned. That was episode 10. That was this day, I believe it's the third longest episode of any Geekcast Radio Network podcast, coming in at 4 hours and 27 minutes.
Jesus.
Well, that's because I included all the audio for the bonus features of the DVDs at the time.
You and your cuts.
Yeah. But for me, this was the movie. This was the thing. 1985, 86 maybe, 5 or 6 years old. I did not see this in theaters, but I still remember to this day, Kingston, Massachusetts. Adventure in Video. When I found out that they had this, I was like, gimme, 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 and I'm never giving it back.
And then you did.
And well, yeah, I had to, obviously, because back then there were, late fees and blah, 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 blah. We don't have any of that anymore these days because video stores are dead.
After so many late fees, you just buy them, you bought the thing.
Well, yeah. But for me, like, I don't remember what rentals cost at that place. I don't remember. I mean, I know generally a rental is like $4.99 or something like that, or it used to be at Blockbuster or whatever. I don't know. But for me, I would rent this. After I found out about it, I would probably rent it once every 2 or 3 months. I literally, like, my video store, Adventure in Video, Kingston, Massachusetts, they had one copy. Every time it was in, I grabbed it. And I kid you not, I wore that VHS tape out. I friggin' love this movie. I know this movie like the back of my hand. I don't even have to have had to watch it. Somebody just mentioned a scene to me, and I know the movie. The last time I watched it all the way through was probably when BCI was doing their DVD releases at the time. So again, 7-8 years ago, something like that. I forget how long it's been since the BCI DVDs came out. It doesn't matter if I haven't seen this in 7 or 8 years. I still know it. It's always stuck with me. Because this is, the galaxy far, far away for He-Man.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Star Wars for a second.
Well, you look at it, really. Kind of is, if you think about it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I don't know the movie, but it's still somewhat of a fresh take in the respect that I haven't watched it in the last 5 to 10 years, 8 to 10 years, something like that.
Yeah. So are you ready for the powers of Grayskull, sir?
I'm the one that's always ready. Sometimes it takes you some convincing, but I'm born ready.
No, I am ready. I am so ready. I this is fresh. This is new. This is, something that, we're going into fresh and new. Because honestly, outside of Secret of the Sword, I remember nothing of the series. I don't even remember that this was originally, and we'll talk about this in episode 47, this was originally the first 5 episodes, and they recut it into this film. And that's what episode 47 is going to be about, is the differences and stuff like that. But, I only remember the film version. I do not remember the individual episodic versions of this.
I don't even know if I'm going to remember a single She-Ra episode for the entire run. I don't know. Yeah. I'll be surprised if I watch a single episode and be like, I remember that. I'm hoping it happens, but I honestly, I remember She-Ra. I remember buying my sister She-Ra toys for Christmas or for her birthday or something, and I remember being all about it. My cousin had the He-Man toys, and I was into the whole universe type thing, but I honestly don't, off the top of my head, I could not tell you what a single episode's about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be an interesting adventure, and it's going to be a lot more fresh even than He-Man was, and I mean, even some of the He-Man stuff we hadn't seen in a while, but still I remember some of it because I probably saw those episodes, 2-3 times as a kid. So it's going to be a different experience with She-Ra. It's going to be a whole different adventure.
Yep, absolutely. So we hope you're ready, because it's time to enter Etheria.
I've never seen so many flyers.
Something must be happening, something big.
We better get to Whispering Woods fast.
I get you. By the power of Grayskull.
For the honor of Grayskull. I am She-Ra.
This looks like double trouble.
Three, 2, 1, click.
I feel like we should be talking right now, like all the...
I missed this Filmation sound effect. It's not there. It's the music for the opening theme song here.
I don't remember this song at all. I'm digging it, though. It's not Stan Bush.
Shut up. Oh, the logos. I love these logos. I really dig these logos, people.
I like the gem and the... Oh, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm downloading this song. It's going to be my new ringtone.
Surprised you don't already have it on BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
No, I don't have this theme. I'm going to make it my ringtone. I don't want it for some site. Written by Larry DiTilio, like we didn't know that, but...
Written by Bob Ford.
And Bob Ford, so... Two people we highly praised in the last episode.
Plus the people that worked on Beast Wars later on.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that.
Come on. I mean, okay, that's like me saying, you know...
I'm in He-Man world right now.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's like me saying, oh, you know, Ham Saban also did the theme for, you know, Ham Saban and Shuki Levy also did the music for He-Man and She-Ra, and
wait, we got starring the voices here. John Irwin, excellent.
Melindy Britt.
Finally, a new voice, new female voice.
Alan Oppenheimer.
Right.
Linda Gary.
He did one or two appearances in He-Man, but good to see George.
Erica Scheimer.
So we've already got more female
Luke
voices
Scheimer.
than we did in the whole last series.
Oh, God, Grayskull looks so good here.
I haven't seen it for a while.
It's never looked that good in the original He-Man series, at least the outer part of it.
It's been quite a few episodes since we saw Grayskull. Oh.
And we've never seen the Sorceress in her nightie.
No. I don't want to go too far with that.
Hey, look, it's Darth Vader.
I always thought Hordak looked weird in that robot costume.
Yeah, it's Darth Vader with Princess Leia, people.
The young man-at-arms.
With no mustache, that's just wrong.
Put some clothes on.
Put some clothes. It's like she's in a strip joint.
Fanboys rejoicing.
Yeah.
The epic sword.
One of them, anyway.
That's a new shot there.
The background is new, but yeah.
Well, I'm saying the first look at the
Fright Zone?
Yes. One of Mike's favorite characters.
Granger. That's a new shot. Castle Bright Moon.
Yeah.
The transition. Look at Adam. Look at how they're done up here.
That's a strong looking Adam.
Yeah. I mean, the shading and the shadows.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's looking a little too muscular. That was almost He-Man-like.
Yeah. Joel, this sword looks just like mine.
Now remember, if we were back in this time, and we were watching this for the first time, those shots of Fright Zone and et cetera would have no meaning to us. We'd have no clue what they're showing us with that.
Okay, I have to call into question him putting that sword in his back. Where is his sword? Like, he doesn't have two sheaths back there. I know he doesn't.
True.
Don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not trying to bitch about the movie. I'm really not, but I gotta point it out.
All right, so we already have the stage set for, that this is the universe important. The fate of the universe is on his shoulders. Trala? I'm just kidding.
No. No. This is Etheria, and it is a pretty bright place.
Cringer already trying to make a couple funnies.
Yep.
Interesting Star Wars-esque animal there.
Mm-hmm.
The Laughing Swan Inn. The Etherians.
Man, if it had a stage, it would be Mos Eisley. Or Jabba's palace, I should say.
Oh. Beastman.
Yeah. Why is Cringer talking out of the side of his mouth instead of...
Now, we have seen Horde-esque like things during the series, but nothing to this extent, of course. The classic cartoon chicken leg that I've never seen in real life look quite like that.
I've never seen a fish eaten like that before. I love that sound effect. Wing, wing, wing. We see this later, but it doesn't appear that the helmets come off of the Horde troopers.
Right.
Since their eyes glow. But we'll see that it does happen later.
Definitely has a Star Wars feel, not just from the Cantina standpoint, but Bo looks almost like, like you'd see one of the Jedis like hiding out with the cloak over their head.
Yep.
Snakes inside there?
Mm-hmm.
You're under arrest. Can you really be that manly with a heart?
I was gonna say, hey, look, it's lots of heart bear as a human, or whatever is. I forget what the.
I know what's his about.
You should know. You love Care Bears.
Love a lot or something.
Love, yeah, Tenderheart. Something like that. Tenderheart. There you go. See, I knew you knew.
It's amazing that we never saw somebody with a bow. I don't believe in the He-Man series, except for Bowena.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Man-at-Arms and Teela kind of play around with them in, like, training, but we never actually saw someone...
Like, as their main weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked the bat symbol and the look of the Horde.
Yep.
Which we saw on Batros and a couple other people during He-Man. Just never knew what the heck that represented until now.
Yeah.
That is a queer stance.
Very much so. And how is an owl's inside of his ears pink, yellow, and blue?
I always like that, though. It's almost
no, I like it. I think it's cool.
Too. I don't think we heard that exact voice ever.
No, we haven't.
The names of places in Etheria, I thought they were all named better than Eternia.
Really?
With the Whispering Woods and different areas like...
Yeah. Fright Zone.
Yeah.
Well, the Fright Zone and Snake Mountain kind of give each other a run for each other's money.
Yeah, a little bit. It just seemed like they were more generic places in Eternia that you saw once and you never heard from again.
Seeing this in... think the only person the Horde symbol does not work on is Catra.
Hmm.
Because her outfit is red, and the Horde symbol is red.
Right.
Shadow Weaver's a Horde trooper in disguise.
I always liked the little snort.
Mm-hmm. Hordek's face almost looks robotic until he does that laugh, and his face just moves really, really weird.
Yeah, I'm glad they got George DeCenzo, though. It adds another element to this whole, another layer to the voices. And something else that really attracted me to this series was the Horde members, and there's a lot more to them, it seemed like, than what we got with some of the Evil Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because you're so used to Evil Warriors, but they're just they're interesting characters in the Horde.
Hey, look, it's a purple Ewok.
It's like if you took a Trollan and a Widget.
Yeah. We should also mention that Bo has Arrow, his horse. Pussycat.
He does know this scene by scene.
Dude, I'm telling you. This movie is 90% Adam. What do you think of that?
It's 90% Adam?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry.
I wish they had a voice for Glimmer.
Do what?
I wish they had a different voice for Glimmer.
Her voice is alright, but...
It's too much Tila. Well... I don't want to be reminded of Tila. Madam Raz. And the broom.
Oh, I love Broom.
So you're immediately introduced to the counterparts from He-Man. Your comedic relief, you know, who's taking Orko's spot, who's taking Cringer's spot.
You mean, well...
I'm just saying,
not really.
in the comedic sense.
Well, yeah, a little bit. Cringer has enough lines in this. He's pretty funny. Battlecat's got some good lines in this,
I'm
too.
just saying, like, going forward, you're you know, who you're going to turn to for those same type of moments.
True, right. If you look at Glimmer and Adam, they could almost be betrothed to each other with their outfits. Between her pink hair and purple stuff and his pink shirt and purple pants.
Quote.
Do what?
Quote, a friend.
Yeah.
That shot of villagers is more manly than our shot of our main characters right now. Yeah, pink, purple, a heart in his chest. That is some kind of ship.
That is some kind of design. Look at the background, too. The background's, oh my god, so refreshing.
Oh, man. It's amazing how Bluesheimer still had some tricks in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought we would have heard all of his voices through his 150 characters we've already heard him voice. They definitely made Adora stand out from a physical standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
From a look. She didn't look like she fit in with that group.
Mm-mm.
It is a bright moon, because it's a lot of light in these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The extender eyes. Cool feature on the toy.
Yep. Hey, look, it's Panther's girlfriend.
I always thought that was a cool part of the toy. I almost thought it looked too toy-like in the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
The leech's hands and feet.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to have the circle outline. Here we go, our first transformation.
Oh, that's bright. I don't think it's ever been this bright with the lightning. Oh, man, that's awesome.
And Battle Cats.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Cranium Crunch from Crush. Finally, some manliness. She's the only one also without the Horde symbol.
Yep.
I almost wish they would have outfitted her more like a Horde member.
Ooh, that was a hit.
That Cadra and Panther should get together.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's some weird bestiality going on, I guess, but...
Well, if Catherine the Great can do it with a horse, I mean...
Oh, that's rude. He-Man's not supposed to be beating up on the girls, but...
Well...
That was always Tila's job. Who's thankfully absent from this scene.
Who?
Tila.
Oh, yeah, she's not in this at all until the end.
Quit ruining things for people.
Sorry. I'm used to doing commentaries with people that have seen the movie before.
No, I'm not talking about me. It's that rare listener out there that hasn't seen this.
Sneeze powder.
Forgot he had extra feet.
Yep.
With boots only on 2 of them.
Yep.
Okay, Orko. That voice sounded too much like Orko. It was brutal.
I'm sorry, but that would have caused I know Battle Cat's supercharged from the power of Grayskull, but I'm sorry, that would have caused him to have a cavity or something.
Delayed unsheathing of the sword.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's her sword. His sword was caught by...
That was his second sword he had sheathed back there.
Mm-hmm. Mysterious. It's like the swords are now part, just like Optimus Prime's trailer.
Right.
Like, where the hell does it go when he
I
transforms?
always like their weapons too. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's almost like a pointer that you'd point at like a bulletin board or something with. He didn't say the magic words.
Mm-mm.
The sprouts.
I think they're called Twiggets, but yeah. Hey, look, it's Orion or Orion or whatever that stupid thing is from Neverending Story.
broom looks like, the broom looks like Lumiere.
Mm-hmm.
Scary looking place.
Mm-hmm.
He's not enjoying that, folks. Good drawing on his hands and arms in that scene.
Yep. He's really got a fleshed out six-pack there.
He's been working out in between series.
I mean, look at him. I mean, the lines on him to show where his muscles are or his bones are, that is so super defined.
Yeah. Our first real interaction between the two. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but that was a weird smile on his face.
Can't tell if he likes her or if he knows that he's related to her. It's a whole Luke Leia thing going on here. A lot of Star Wars connections in this story.
Yeah, there is a lot of Star Wars stuff in the story, but thank God they never kiss.
That always cracked me up that they put his freaking face on it. I always thought it was cheesy. He's too cool everything. To have his face on the machine like that.
They put his face on that. They put his face on the ground vehicles.
Right, a lot of things.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was necessary. Is that Klingon that he's reading?
I guess.
It's a tall building.
It
was a long pan.
Very long pan.
It's like the sorcerer. She's out of power.
Well, she did have most of it sucked out of her earlier by Leech, so I mean,
just memories.
At least there's a real, at least there's a reason for it, unlike half of He-Man.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Battle Cat? I think this is Dark Dream's wife from the He-Man series. Never trust a woman.
No.
You should. It's like they've split Orko into two characters.
Madame Raz and Cowl.
Yeah. Oh, the classic generic beast. Where's He-Man to punch him into sand?
Well, they had to show off the new powers of the new characters. They could have just run after this, but they don't. Look at Broom's face. He's like, oh, I'm not sure this is going to work. Look at the monster smile.
Bo's eyebrows don't match his mustache or his hair.
Nope.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like calling anything a secret mission draws more attention to you. Look at the great horse there, Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
The Etherians look a lot like the Eternians sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Not salt water. Like, what has she been doing her whole life to not be exposed to any of the bad stuff they do?
She's been training in the Fright Zone. She said it.
I know, but for 30 years?
Mm-hmm.
20 years?
Yep. And they've taken Hordak and Shadow Weaver have probably taken extra precautions, so
Yeah.
you know.
But Battle Cat's dead.
No, he's not. It hit his armor.
Good look at Grizzlor there a couple seasons ago. Shots ago.
Mm-hmm.
The She-Ra version of Beastman.
Wow. Yeah, this is so Beast Man. I do like Grizzlor's voice. It's very different because it has some sort of vibration. Yeah, it's modulated a little bit, and I like that.
Rude awakening for Adora.
Mm-hmm. They can just open the door. There's no guards.
You also just push a button and it opens. There's no passcodes, no fingerprints, no eyes.
Yeah, they just walk right in.
It's back in the 80s.
Yep.
Just have to push a button. Oh! Peekaboo. I said peekaboo, not peekaboo. Good shot. The outlining and drawing on He-Man is so much more distinct than it is on anybody else.
Well, that and they upped the animation.
Yeah.
This isn't just stock anymore. Most of this is all new animation. And his facial expressions, honestly, I'm sorry to say, half of them suck because they've upped the animation.
Hordak almost looks like he has like fish-like feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got flippers almost.
Mm-hmm. And he's still struggling. He's never going to beat those things.
The one thing He-Man can't break.
Yep.
It's like a gremlin meets a Furby.
Yep.
It's a weird looking face. Good setup for how pathetic these characters are, apparently.
Oh, the one thing I do remember about She-Ra is that they make the men more pathetic.
Yeah.
So they, don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not trying to be unpolitically correct here, but, women power is great and all that. But the men in She-Ra later, just...
Yeah, look at Hordak's feet there.
Yeah, they are flippers. He's a Danny Elfman penguin.
He's got a little...
Not Danny DeVito, not Danny Elfman. Jesus Christ.
He's got a little merman in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lou Scheimer might have done 100 voices just in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's even got the rescue scenario, kind of like a Star Wars storyline there. Trying to find the right cell and rescue him, but you screw up, and they needed the trash compactor scene to make it legit.
And here's where Empire comes in.
Separate so I can get my hand cut off. Side-by-side control room chairs. That's odd. Oh, got a clean break there.
Mm-hmm. You'd think he'd try to go back and get his sword, but no.
Aww.
Oh, look at that. The Fright Zone is amazing. They even have statues of the Horde troopers.
He doesn't know who He-Man is.
Mm-mm.
Watch out.
Mm-hmm.
If mothers were creepy, hooded creatures with yellow eyes.
Mm-hmm. Notice she... Wait. Oh, I didn't remember she actually held the sword. I thought she just mystically picked it up. But...
Cool counterpart to what Evelyn's role would have been in He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But a little,
very much so.
More creepy and mystical.
Oh, yeah. Shadow Weaver is magic done right. I mean, Evelyn had some cool stuff, but she's not as cool as Shadow Weaver. See, this is what I don't get. He didn't have his sword. When he was moving the prison, whatever, he didn't have his sword. So I'm like, where the hell is the He-Man sword? And now all of a sudden they're back to Adam and Cringer.
A lot of things happen in commercial breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's about to have surgery on itself.
Yeah.
Those big claws.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a big stark contrast that they're making here between the nature and the mechanical.
Yeah, nature and technology, yeah. Imp.
Something we didn't get in He-Man. Skeletor had no imp.
Thank God. Actually, he did. He was called Beastman.
but not like a sidekick comic relief.
Yeah.
Panther was much more different type of character.
And Panther was hardly ever seen in the entire Filmation He-Man series.
Unfortunately. I like Mantenna.
Mm-hmm.
It's floating.
The Valley of the Lost sounds so much better than the Valley of Power.
I thought we were going to the Land of the Lost. I could do without Imp.
Yeah, I could do without a lot of the side characters in this series.
They're even calling the good characters in this the Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of nods to Star Wars.
Yep, the Evil Horde and the Rebels, yep. Hornak's laugh is cool, but Skeletor's is better.
Yeah. Focus on crotch.
Yeah. Why are you touching yourself? Why are you touching yourself? Why are you touching yourself?
Makes you disappear.
The plunder room.
The interesting part of the story where they explain to us the whole thing, or the whole plot behind this thing he's doing here as he sucks the energy out of everybody. And it introduces an element of time to the rest of the story.
Yep.
As we try to fill the meter up. Helps kids keep things in order as they get to watch the meter increase over time.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, Skeletor's human. The guy in the it's Alan's voice. Didn't know Skeletor went balding in his old age. Christ, he kind of looks like George Costanza.
Neither does Adora.
Hmm?
He said he doesn't look much like a member of the Horde, but neither does Adora.
True. Okay, all throughout Tales of Eternia, when we're doing the He-Man show, we've said that the whole transformation thing, we know it's for us, but those guards just walked by him. And all of a sudden, he's going to stand on a cliff in view of everybody.
He ain't afraid of shit.
I know, but
And we even get the dressing up like a stormtrooper.
Uh-huh.
Never enough power. The meter is empty.
Yeah.
Troopers are not allowed to have long hair. Good job.
What do you think of the effects on the orb here?
It's all right. Kind of glad we can't actually see until it goes to that angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were trying to apply to be a Hordes member, remember, no long hair allowed.
I don't think I've ever seen a character in any cartoon series with red teeth like Hordak.
There we go. Setting up the one-on-one confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
That's creepy.
Uh-huh. For a second there, I didn't think he was going to touch that.
That's so inappropriate.
Hey, I know, but it's the way my mind works.
Don't make me put my finger on your lips again. Submissive.
Look at his arm. His right arm.
Sheath. Outside the Horde costume?
No, it was
He
inside.
pulled it from inside? That'd be awkward. Probably have to get that out all the way first, and then, I don't know. Ugh. Took it to the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Shot in the ass.
I was just going to say it. I'm like, damn it, Mike, you shot me in the ass. You'll be all right, Marcus.
That's so weird.
Oh, that's creepy.
His head apparently detaches from his body and he holds it.
Yeah,
Animation probably not quite how they wanted it done that. Whoa. Extreme close-up.
mm-hmm.
And a look at the swords.
That's not the best shot of them, though.
No. Got that right.
That's the best shot.
Mm-hmm.
How they're all... what's the word?
Focuses on them more than the...
It focuses on them, but it's a silhouette kind of look. It's nice and shiny and...
Right.
Yeah.
More people in their 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Sorceress. Get a Dora.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Catra?
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's keep the swords in the same room that
Mm-hmm.
we have him chained up in.
Yeah, but he's not getting out.
It's still a weird place to put the swords. That should be in their throne room or something.
If only she had some earmuffs on.
Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
That's the best shot the entire movie of the swords.
Stop
is
looking
her
at Princess Adora's butt.
Of her with him in the background on the swords like that.
And Sorceress just spoiled things.
Mm-hmm.
Take this man as your husband.
Quiet, you.
Your brother. Luke. I am your father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole Luke, I'm your father moment.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody tired of my Star Wars connections?
No.
Okay, good. May the Force be with you. Oh, man.
There was a convention a couple of years ago where Melinda Britt went to it, and she had not said these lines in 30 years. And she usually refuses because she wants people to
Love the
remember
effects
it.
on that.
Yeah.
I always like the effect on this way more than the He-Man one. With those rainbow fireworks, plus with that thing that went all the way down her like that.
Yeah.
Very refreshing.
I don't like that it turns into Castle Brightmoon, though, but yeah. What I was saying was Melinda Britt, the voice actress for She-Ra and Adora, she was at, I think it was Power and ThunderCon a couple of years ago. I think it was like 2012, 2013. It had been 30 some odd years or 20 some odd years since she had actually ever spoke those lines. And she actually refuses when anybody in an interview asks her to say for the honor of Grayskull, she won't do it because she wants people to she doesn't want to screw it up. She wants people to remember it the way it was.
Right.
And the way that it was meant to be. Oh, Grayskull.
She-Ra's so much more badass than Adora.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Just in every way possible, such a much cooler character.
Yeah, but Adora's not as weak-willed as Adam. Like, Adam is...
That's probably more to do with the male-female thing.
Yeah.
And her crown thing is... I always thought that was super cool. It's not just like a regular crown. It goes all the way up and down her face.
Mm-hmm.
No, none of us know. Don't worry. It's the device of the week. This is where his arm gets cut off. I'm just kidding.
Oh. She doesn't even need to use her sword. This time, anyway.
Apparently, all He-Man has to do is sit on Cringer.
No.
And of course, since we didn't get the typical intro, we don't know who knows. You know what I mean? Who will eventually find out who She-Ra is?
Yep.
That'll be something we get as we go forward.
Yep.
Probably one of the most empowering female cartoon characters of the entire decade.
One of, yes. I'll agree with one of. There is another one. She's usually truly outrageous. So.
Yeah, I think they're on level playing field. I mean, you have She-Ra, you have like Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake, I guess, in a more younger age thing. Super O'Neil, maybe, but
yeah,
definitely one of the ones at the top here. Especially when you would think about like of a strong female character.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Penny from Inspector Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Chitara. Haven't got a lot of the other Horde members since that introductory segment. It's been mainly Hordak and the Shadow Weaver since then. Imp has also disappeared.
Which I think we can agree is not such a bad thing that he has.
At
And
all.
okay, we gotta say something right here. He has his hand on her hip.
It's alright. As long as it doesn't slide down anymore. Now it's on her hand.
It just doesn't.
Don't kiss her, Luke. It's all the convincing it takes for She-Ra. Apparently, She-Woman didn't sound good enough.
Oh, there's your tear that you don't like.
Well, I don't mind it in that sense.
Okay.
It wasn't the episode's over, I'm going to have one tear go down or something like that. That was one of the one times I've seen it that I didn't mind it.
See, look, his face is on everything.
Those Horde members had no faces.
They have no eyes, yeah.
Backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Not the magic of the sorceress. Marlena looks shady.
She looks very young.
It's a terrible look for Hordak.
Marlena's showing off her earthly duties. Yeah, I don't like the young look of Marlena. It just doesn't look right.
That's why I question why he didn't... Like, he knows this world exists.
Mm-hmm.
But they were so perplexed as to the otherworldly features of the swords.
Well, let's say, for example, say for He-Man and She-Ra, they're 30 years old in this. It's been 30 years. Not a lot of,
Whoa, eyes.
Huh?
Her eyes were like cross-eyed for a second.
Oh. It's like one of those magic eye things. Ugh. I love that effect. I always have. I don't know why. It's like boing.
He's like, I've tried to get rid of it at least once. And a smooch.
Shut up.
Horse approves of the incest.
Hey now.
Just kidding. That's kind of an interesting main difference, too, between the two series, whereas in He-Man you got, everybody knows who he is from the get-go.
Well, yeah,
but I mean, he's a good character from the beginning, whereas in this one, she starts on the other side and they have to kind of adopt her.
Right. Dark and ominous skies.
Creepy.
Hey, sounds like a 80s version of Lady Gag Me.
Oh, jeez. Some melons there.
No comment.
Throwing food at her.
If you folks go back and pause it on Queen Angela's image when Hunga threw the food at her, look at what is marked on Queen Angela's chest.
Well, he didn't break the door, just opened it.
Yeah. What the hell kind of disguise is that? It's like a Queen Angela cloth. It's like, what the hell?
This lady's so creepy.
Yeah. Now, at every Michaels location, Queen Angela cloths.
Fruit punch?
That's a roll-up of a different color.
That could either be a boy or a girl. Outside of the voice.
Yeah. Oh my god. If you think about it with the voice, Lady Edwina really grew up.
That's what happens. Hunga has herpes?
Never crossed the streams, but it works in this case.
So that's what happens when you put those swords together. She-Ra's so cool looking.
See, look. Look at her chest plate.
That voice is terrible.
I kind of like it. Kind of goes in line with Glimmer.
Just is too slow and robotic.
That was a nice effect.
She-Ra's a lesbian?
I don't think that's what I said, but okay.
That's what She-Ra said. She said Queen Angela is magnificent.
Oh.
And now they're searching for Glimmer.
But they should know, like, He-Man and She-Ra should know where Glimmer is because of the fact that they just left the Whispering Woods.
True.
Look at Broom, Madame Razz.
Broom, I swear, is Lemire's, like, half-brother.
Yeah. All we need is Magneto to be...
That background could be both flowering things and it could be something from Willy Wonka. Could be edible.
I thought it was the rolled up hedgehogs from Frozen in the 80s.
All could be like cotton candy. Well, it's not like they're trying to disguise themselves.
No, true. He needs to put his hands somewhere else.
The Hordak machine. That's a cool shot.
It's kind of like they're both on a throne.
He's talking directly to the camera.
It's a Ferris Bueller moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Teela, on the other hand, probably won't. It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. I don't know about that. Yet Hordak's not behind them.
It's a time displacement thing. The only thing I can think of is Spock and Nero. While it was only seconds for him, it was years for...
Can we get out of this dumb spaceship-looking thing?
Every time I see Hordak now, I keep wanting to say, I pity the fool.
Hordak's so cool until he turns into cheesy-looking things like that. Good memory. Dun dun dun, the plot thickens. Why would he make them do that?
Because he wants to surprise them. I mean, technically, this is a Sleeping Beauty moment.
Why did they all open their eyes at different times? Usually at a time like that, everybody would open their eyes at once.
I think they wanted to show reactions from each character. At a time.
Like, you open your eyes first, then you open your eyes. Oh, everybody's crying except for Teela because she's a jealous bitch. And she's stronger than you.
But you got to remember, though, the sorceress did say that she wiped everyone's memory except for the king and queen and men-at-arms. Right. So Teela, I mean, yeah, sure, I'm not disagreeing with you about the jealous bitch comment, but
well, she's just going to be jealous that there's another chick that's better than her.
Yeah, true.
Holding hands, father and son, mother and daughter.
And father and daughter.
Yeah. This is something you always got to look forward to here.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking back then that you're about to see a Hordak Skeletor meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Love that pose.
He's Mr. December with that pose.
Duh.
Why is it I wanted them to write that like the student has now become the master? No, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. There we go.
There's another cheesy Hordak thing.
Oh, no, I kind of like the drill. That was kind of funny.
It'd be fine if they didn't have to give him his face every time. What? Adora.
That's a cool shot of Snake Mountain.
Hordak needs to work on that laugh.
Yeah.
Oh.
You weren't expecting them, were you?
Forgot about these guys. The whole gang.
I forget which episode it was, but
Of course, that's a replication of the chef from Eternia.
Chef Allen,
Yeah.
right. That's what I was talking about when we did that podcast episode. I don't remember which one it was, but that we would see him again. Sort of.
He's still a guy?
Yeah.
Triclops making a rare appearance.
Very rare.
It's one way to get in. They're shooting at you. Stop talking to them. Although I guess they stopped shooting so you could talk. Come on, you catch Skeletor every time. The queen is one with that throne.
Just wrong. I love that line.
You didn't care about her for these last 20 years.
No, I'm talking about He-Man's. I'm talking about Man-at-Arms' line.
I'm just talking about the Queen said you took my girlfriend, get her back. You didn't care the last 20 years where she was.
It goes back to the whole spell thing.
The whole what?
Spell thing that the sorceress cast. Yes, she remembers the thing, the daughter, but I don't know.
But I'm saying they've made no attempts to get her back over the last 20 years.
Apparently not. And let's face it, this is a somewhat retelling of a Star Wars story. I mean, the twins, the Emperor and Vader could be Hordak and Skeletor.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush here.
Oops. Where's Evil Lynn?
That's the only one that's missing.
Nope. Princess Adora is not very tough.
Just like a woman. Did he hit that with his hand or her boot?
I'm not sure. One down.
Mm-hmm. Is it just me or does Trapjaw look fat right there in that frame?
Yeah.
I was lucky.
I love that effect with the colored flares.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It just happens that the first time you see me is also the day that you see Princess Adora.
I know.
Ouch. It's a good picture right there. Skeletor with that skull on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice pose.
Mm. Notice how Tila gets more jealous now?
Mm-hmm. Best quote from the movie.
Yeah.
But I haven't cared about you for 20 years. Two seasons. Group hug. There we have it.
No,
The setup.
not yet. Yeah, the setup, for the most part.
The setup for the stories of She-Ra defending Etheria.
Mm-hmm. There are just so many technical things in this thing, like in the last 2.5 scenes here, where she just disappears. She doesn't even walk through the door, and then Adam just appears without any sound effect of a portal opening or closing. This is the best scene in the entire movie.
Who until a few minutes ago she didn't even know what that was.
No, I know, but...
No, I know, I'm just saying it's funny that her thing is about something that's not even in her world.
Mm.
She doesn't point swords at things.
No. Let's face it, folks. The female version of He-Man was supposed to be a little bit more gentle because of working with, appealing to young girls in the 80s. Plus, most of her power comes out of that jewel.
Right. That's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
When did they all get hats?
I was going to say, where'd they all get the hats?
Angela, too. Not Angela.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least these don't have Hordak's face on them.
There's a lot of those things hidden in that little fortress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like the clown cab.
Mm-hmm. But Gorge, no destruction has ever come to the hive machines like this.
About time. Nobody picked up their hat, though.
They all got hit, really?
Best aiming of bad people ever. You tell him, Orko.
It's not Orko. It's Spragg.
That's why they didn't put Orko in the show at all.
You know, there's too many other kid characters. And really, Madame Raz is kind of Orko-ish. I mean, hell, she looks just like him, sort of, in her colors and stuff, right. So... I think what they did with Orko is that they took Madame Raz and Broom and split Orko's personality into two characters, where you have Madame Raz is kind of like the forgetful, you know, her magic always screws up, and then Broom is the adventurous side of Orko, where it's...
Right.
You know, it's his sarcastic side and all that. And hey, look, She-Ra can heal people.
She can talk to the animals, heal the animals, feel what the animals feel. She's a Dr. Dolittle of Etheria. Cinderella's mice come in here.
The funny thing is, all I can think of is the space mice from Voltron.
Wondering why a sneeze dust would work on somebody with a robotic helmet.
No.
Temper tantrum much?
So we got Bone Brain and Jarhead. Is that Rocket again?
Like, whoever thought of the idea of him turning into different shapes like that is not a very bright person.
It's not polite to speak ill of the dead.
I don't care.
I think it was Lusheimer, but I could be wrong.
Everything else works about Hordak except for that. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to team up and take out Skeletor and then team up and take out Hordak?
You're gonna hate this moment here in a minute, and I'll reply to that.
Tear.
Yep.
That's the one that's not okay. The others I didn't mind, but that one's bad.
As far as the team up stuff, yeah, I mean...
Cool song again. Keep going.
Yeah. The team up stuff, they do actually... I do know of several episodes outside
No, I'm not saying they don't team up during the She-Ra series. I'm just saying it would make more sense just strategically to know how unstoppable they are together to just team up and solve one world's problem and then solve the other world's problem after that.
True. Very true.
Bunch of dead people here.
Come on. Oh, God.
There might be a few people still living on this list.
Wow.
But gotta comment on the credits here. Still waiting for a name I know.
I thought that was going to say Lorenzo Di Bonaventura or whatever, one of the guys from the Transformers live action movie.
Yeah. The Pope was involved in this. That's good. No voice credits in this?
It might be at the very, very end. Oh, I guess not.
Unless we missed it at the beginning, maybe.
Well,
Erica Scheimer singing I Have the Power.
Yep.
Levy Sabana and Erica Scheimer composed it.
Yep.
I didn't know she did much music stuff. I thought it sounded familiar. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yep.
1985. Good Lord. I wish I could go back to that time.
30 years ago this year. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the commentary for Secret of the Sword. We'll be right back with final thoughts, other dissections, and more, and then a preview of what's to come later this year for Myths of Etheria. We'll be back after this.
A female He-Man! Oh, this is the worst day of my life!
All right, folks, we are back here on Myths of Etheria, episode 46 overall for Powers of Grayskull series. Now, sir, it's been 30 years or so. It's been 30 years since the release, but it's probably been about 28 or so since you've actually seen the movie. What are your overall thoughts in brief looking back at Secret of the Sword?
I mean, if you take this and try to really break it down and be very critical about it, yeah, you can probably find a whole bunch of different things that are wrong or misplaced or don't make sense or this, that, and the other. But if you take this for what it was, which is a cartoon in the 80s, and a cartoon that was trying to bridge the gap between two series, I think it works phenomenally. It's also something we didn't get a lot of. I mean, nowadays, crossovers maybe is not such a big thing because TV networks do it all the time now, to the point where it's not as special. But rewind decades to back to 1985, this isn't something you saw a lot of. So, especially not in action adventure type cartoons like a He-Man, you know what I mean? So, I think it's something that was very unique. I thought they did a good job of balancing both worlds. Obviously, the story was going to need to go to both to Etheria and Eternia, so you kind of expect that. But they do a good job of not necessarily throwing every single character from both worlds at you, but kind of throwing enough. And as we talked about, they didn't include Orko, so they did do some balancing as far as, how many comedic characters do we have, how many, et cetera, how many villains, how many heroes, and they did a decent job of balancing that, I thought. Really cool to see new characters after 130 episodes of He-Man. Really cool to hear some new voices, both in George DeCenzo and Melody Britt, and what they bring. Even seems like a couple new voices from the standard voice actors that we hadn't heard really that much in the 130 episodes that they busted out for some of these characters. So, all in all, I think it's a good introduction to the series. I think it does a good job, especially, it could have ended almost at that one point where it was just She-Ra going back to Etheria to fight the battles and wage the wars. Like, they almost didn't even need He-Man to go back there, but I understand that they wanted to, kick Hordak out of the castle so you could kind of set that up for the series. But I think it does a decent job of setting up what's going on here, and it also sets up the possibility that you're going to see crossovers between the worlds throughout the She-Ra series. So I think that's something that fans of the He-Man series can be excited about. And I think that's one way to kind of keep the guys interested in the series as well. What about you?
For me, it's been 30 years, and I still love this movie. Sure, in the commentary, we made little snide comments about certain things, and I made Star Wars references, but I mean, seriously, look at this and tell me that the writers here were not influenced by A New Hope. I mean, you can't say that they weren't. I mean, you really can't at all. I still love this movie. I can watch it at any time if I'm wanting to. And if you really look at it, like you were saying, there's only 3 80s cartoons that have had... 3 80s action cartoons that had theatrical film releases. Transformers, this, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I still absolutely love it. I think, you mentioned earlier in the commentary about, no Evelyn. I think the reason why she wasn't there is because it would have taken away from Shadow Weaver. Some people might have thought it would have taken, because
Well, I think
Shadow
more so,
Weaver
like I was saying, it's more of a balance since we have so many female characters in Etheria. When we go back to Eternia, we don't necessarily need to see all the female characters or the two of them. Just like we don't need to see Orko in Eternia because we got a lot of those comedic characters in Etheria. So I think it's more of a balancing thing. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, yeah, the selfish person in me would like to see more, some type of like a group shot or some type of like army invasion where you get to see Merman and Evil Lyn and all of the evil warriors that have ever appeared. That would be awesome because that's something we never get ever, is a story that brings them all together.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can understand the balancing that you have to do, and you can't just throw everybody in the kitchen sink at it, or it'll just seem like that's what you're doing just to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and the cool thing was, honestly, this is probably the one piece of media in the Masters of the Universe franchise that has more of Triclops than any of the He-Man series. Like, Triclops, he had more lines here than when he was actually in the He-Man series.
And I do like the song that they put in there too. It definitely reminds me of Stan Bush and Transformers stuff. Just kind of something where you're doing a theatrical thing, and you bust out something completely different musically. And I enjoyed that song inclusion as well.
Absolutely.
So hats off to Erica Scheimer, and of course, the staples when it comes to theme songs and music and cartoons in the 80s.
Absolutely. A couple of things to get out of the way before we get out of here, folks. We've got a new fan, Waltor Grayskull. He goes by Waltor3 on iTunes. He left us a new review. And he's a 5-star review left on March 21st, 2015. Spike Ores scene. I love the show and love the support you are giving to the Motu POP property. Question, was OptimusSolo about to comment on the serious scene in Visitors from Earth when Skeletor ordered Spike-Ore to get the pilots? I think that he's talking about got sidetracked. The way Spike-Ore walked towards the pilots was kind of scary for an 80s cartoon. I don't remember what we were talking about with that episode. It was something about the Spike-Ore walking towards the screen, and he seems to think you got confused about something. I don't know.
I'll have to re-listen to that and see what exactly we're talking about.
Yep. So, folks, I know everyone has loved, for the most part, Powers of Grayskull, Tales of Eternia since 2011, 2012. We are going to be going on a 5-month hiatus. We're going to come back on the actual air date that Into Etheria, the first episode of She-Ra, Princess of Power, aired in September. But as we said at the beginning of this podcast episode, we're not just going to be sitting on our laurels here. We are going to be recording podcasts. We're just not going to release
Who's Laurel, and why would you sit on her?
Oh, God.
Sorry. We are going to be recording.
We're not just going to be sitting around doing nothing, folks. We are going to be recording our She-Ra series, Myths of Etheria, and we will premiere it in September of this year. In the meantime, and yes, this is a plug, I want everyone to go over to geekcastradio.com or go over to iTunes and look up Showtime Synergy. It is our new gem review podcast. It will air for the next 21 weeks or so. It's currently airing. We just released episode 4. That's myself, Lady Rick, and Beatles Diva talking about Gem and the Holograms. But OptimusSolo and I are going to take probably about a month or so off and do some other stuff. We're going to get you maybe some GCRN retros and that kind of thing. And hopefully we're going to get the game show grotto going, which
might be some Wars episodes in there. So
yeah,
might be some just basic GCR episodes. So we're going to have some fun doing some other stuff so we can go in fresh to Etheria and not be burned out at all, and also will allow us to give you regular content without having to take any breaks like happened a couple times during Tales of Eternia.
Right, exactly. So, episode 47 will air in September of 2015, and then I think the She-Ra series runs 47 to... No,
it's 35 episodes.
I know it's 35
I was telling,
episodes.
I was telling listeners that don't know that. It'll be 35 episodes, so it'll start in September and it'll go for 35 weeks.
Right. But what I was going to say is that it runs from episode 46 to 82 of the podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that'll be, and like OptimusSolo said, 35 weeks we'll be doing that. And then we're probably going to take another little break after, because the next franchise after She-Ra, oh God. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Any other final words that you want to impart on the listeners before we get out of here?
Don't abandon us just because we're taking some time off, so be ready. Prepare yourself for September. If you don't have the She-Ra DVDs, you can spend that time saving money to get those, or you can, like Mike said, you can listen to Showtime Synergy or some of the other stuff in the meantime, but be ready because September we're coming back, and we're coming back full throttle.
Yeah, I want to give one more shout out before I close it out to Damn Fine Podcast at DF_podcast on Twitter. They are Tony and Scott, and they had tweeted at Pow of Grayskull. I just found at Pow of Grayskull. If you're a He-Man Motu fan like me, then go give these guys a listen. Thumbs up. So thank you to Damn Fine Podcast. We'll have to check you out.
Sure.
And also, folks, one last thing. I know I keep saying one more, but it's kind of like Steve Jobs. Anyway, as of right now, we're recording this April 11th, 2015. On April 7th, La La Land Records just released He-Man and the Masters of the Universe music from the television series. This is 111 tracks of music from Filmation's He-Man, and I have listened to it. By the time this podcast airs, my review of it will be up. 2 discs, amazing stuff. If you're like me and you ever wanted to hear the music outside of its actual intention by itself, this is perfect. It's all the cues we know and love, and a lot of stuff that I did not remember hearing when we did our watch through of He-Man. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you for listening to Myths of Etheria. If you'd like to get into contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our posts, and email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. Like Waltor, leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter, at GeekCastRadio is the network Twitter. You can follow at Pow of Grayskull. I am at TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
At OptimusSolo.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. I do want to mention, folks, if you call the voicemail line and leave us a voicemail while we're on hiatus, all feedback will be done in our finale episode unless it's through Twitter or email or something that we can respond to fairly quickly. So any and all feedback, because we're going to be pre-producing a lot of the Myths of Etheria podcast, will be responded to in the episode 82 of Powers of Grayskull series. We hope you enjoyed the Myths today, and don't forget to join us in our next adventure, when we'll be breaking this movie down even more as we take a look at the episodic versions of the story and look at the differences between the two. For now, I am TFG1Mike with...
the one and only OptimusSolo.
By the power and for the honor of Grayskull, you all have the power.